Hi, this is Carlton Cullins, and welcome to the Blue Sky Strongbox. Hey, this is Carlton. Welcome back. This is week 3 now that I've been blabbing about intensity. With that said, if you have not watched my last 2-week videos, go back and do that first because today might be a little confusing. But here we are. If you have not got my point yet, get it now. Intensity is the most important factor when it comes to exercising. Whatever you're doing, whatever you want to call it, intensity is key. If your intensity level is not high, you are not going to get that much out of your exercise. And that's crap because we all work so hard. It's a shame to do all that work and not get that much out of it. But if you want to get that much out of it, you need to push yourself. And that can be a difficult thing. People don't like to push themselves. People don't like to hurt or to be uncomfortable. They don't like it challenging. They don't like being out of breath. They don't like sweating. So people don't push themselves, so people aren't getting results. If it was easy, everybody would do it. But it's not easy, so most people don't do it. With that said, before you start any exercise program, particularly an intense exercise program, make sure you've been cleared by a doctor. It's real important because intense exercise is challenging and it's difficult and it's hard on the body. If you've got some things going on you don't know about, it could put you at a high risk for injury and possibly even death. So make sure you've been cleared by a doctor. Now with that said, do not let that scare you. Do not let that scare you at all. Every day, most of us get in a car and drive, and that's probably the most dangerous thing that we will do all our lives, and we do it every day. So if you're afraid of death, get over it. Don't be afraid. Exercise is not going to hurt you. It's going to help you. It's going to help you not only your body but your mind. If you can learn to force intensity upon yourself, challenge yourself, and do that on your own, I promise you, you're going to get more out of it than you would have ever dreamed of. It takes a certain kind of discipline to get there. And if you can adopt that discipline, you can apply that to a lot of other things in life, and that is a beautiful thing. All right, with that said, we need a way now to gauge how hard we're working, gauge the intensity level. The 2 main ways that I want to talk about today are, one is learning to listen to your own body, and 2 is using what's called a heart rate monitor. A heart rate monitor you can buy at a sporting goods store or Walmart even. I think they're like $35-40. I would just get the most basic one. They might even be cheaper than that. But it's nothing more than a watch you wear on your wrist and a band thing that you wear underneath your chest against your skin. And what it does is it sends a heart rate signal to the watch, and at all times you can read right here. It tells you how many beats your heart is beating. It's pretty simple. I like the heart rate monitor. If you can afford it, it's worth the money. Do you need a heart rate monitor? No, you don't need one, but I think it's good. If you're saying you don't, it costs a little bit of money. I understand that costs a little bit. Don't go out to eat maybe twice and you probably got money for it. Save your money, spend it wisely. It's worth it in my opinion. But going back to the first method, the one without the heart rate monitor, because you don't need one, but it helps. But if you don't have one, you've got to learn to listen to your own body. Now, I've been working out for over 2 decades, and I've learned to listen to my body pretty well. I've learned to push through hard times and do it on my own. But I'm a trainer too. This is my job. I push other people to do that because most people realistically do not want and will not push themselves hard enough. And that is why I have a job. That is why I'm here today trying to motivate people that probably otherwise wouldn't do it. So the real problem with learning to listen to your own body is realistically most people aren't going to push themselves hard enough. I'm not saying you can't. I say you can, but you've got to get in your head that you want to. It is a war. It is serious business. If you want something, you're going to have to put your mind to it. No distractions. Put your mind to it and you can do anything you want to do. And exercise is no exception. Now what you also need with that is a really good soundtrack. So put some good music, good tunes on so to motivate you and get serious about it. And you can adapt that. Learning to listen to your body is what I do most of the time, engaging the intensity. I know when pushing myself when I push myself too much, and I know when it's too little. I learned to do that. That you can do without a heart rate monitor. The easier way is probably to use a heart rate monitor. With a heart rate monitor, we typically use what is called the Carvonen formula. I want you to look it up. It's spelled Karvonen. It is a formula that we use to estimate our maximum heart rate. You need to do that first. Most experts out there agree that if you keep your heart rate above 60% of an estimated heart rate maximum using the Carlton formula that you will get the most out of your exercise aerobically and aerobically. And that basically, you're just going to use a formula and you're going to plug on the numbers and you're going to get a certain number, and when you're working out, you don't let it get below this certain number. There's nothing really magical necessarily about it. It's not like a fat burning zone or anything that they say on the cardio machines. It's just a number that we can use to gauge intensity. Basically, the formula is you take 220 minus your age. In my case, it's 35. So 220 minus 35, I get the number 185. And then I'm going to estimate my heart rate, my minimum, my resting heart rate. To do that, you're probably going to want to wear this thing to sleep and gauge it first thing in the morning. Right when your alarm goes off, before you even start moving around, that will be the lowest your heart rate is going to be, your resting heart rate. You want to take that for 2 or 3 mornings and get an average. Mine happens to be 65. Once I have those two numbers, now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to subtract them. I'm going to take the first number, 185, minus the second number, 65, and for me, I'm going to get the number 120. For you, it's going to be different, so you have to plug in your own numbers. You understand me? Once I get that number 120 for me, I'm going to multiply that times 60%. If you remember back in grade school, that's 0.60. So I'm going to take my 120 times 60%, and I'm going to get the number 72. Now I take that 72 and I add back on my resting heart rate, and that's going to give me the number 137. That's my number, not your number, but my number. What I'm going to do is when I'm working out, whatever I'm doing, I'm not going to let my heart rate get slower or lower than 137. I'm going to keep it above that at all times, and I'm going to get I'm going to get the most out of that workout. Now, that doesn't take into effect that you're going to do intensity work, higher intensity work, interval training and stuff like that. I may rev my heart rate all the way up to close to my maximum many times during a workout, but I'm not going to let it drop below that 137. That's a real important thing. Do research on that. I'm not telling you enough stuff today to get across everything that you need to. Go do more research on that. But today, just get the gist of it. Work on that this week. Think on this stuff. Get serious about it. Intensity is the only way you're going to get results. And I want you to get results, and I want you to be healthy, and I want you to be happy. And that's why we're doing this. So get on it, and I'll see you next week. Bye.